Welcome to Pain in the Grass, the official Lawn Pride podcast, where we dig deep into the real problems hiding in your yard. From weeds to grubs to mystery brown spots, we've got the dirt. Let's grow better together.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today, for those of us, who spent maybe too much time trying to get that perfect lawn, we're diving into some pretty astonishing science. It turns out a truly healthy lawn is, well, it's way more than just watering and mowing. There's this whole complex dance of biology, chemistry, and really precise timing happening just beneath our feet.
That's absolutely right. And our goal today really is to kind of pull back the curtain on this incredible hidden biological symphony. It's happening right there in your yard. We want to show you how understanding this science, this underground world, can actually transform your lawn. Take it from, just okay or even struggling to truly magnificent.
Okay, so when you say living ecosystem in the lawn, I picture grass, maybe some worms. But what are we really talking about down there beyond just dirt and roots?
Oh, it's absolutely bustling. Get this, and this is the mind-blowing fact. 1 single teaspoon of healthy lawn soil. It contains billions of microorganisms. That's more microbes than there are people on Earth. Billions.
Billions. In a teaspoon.
Billions, yeah. Bacteria, fungi, protozoa. They're all working together in what scientists actually call the soil food web. It's incredibly complex.
Wow. That really shifts the perspective, doesn't it? So the lawn isn't just grass blades. It's this microscopic city underground, and its health really depends on that unseen life.
Exactly. Think of it like an iceberg that you see above ground, the green grass.
Yeah.
That's maybe only, say, 10% of the real story.
That's 10%.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
The real action, the lawn's immune system, its ability to fight off pests, recover from heat stress, all that, it's happening below the surface, in the root zone and with that soil biology.
Okay, so it's not just what's in the soil, but how the grass interacts with it. I usually just think of roots passively sucking up water. Is there more going on?
Oh, much, much more. Those grass roots, they aren't passive at all. They're actively communicating. They send out chemical signals.
Communicating? Like how?
Through chemical exudates. Think of it like the grass sending out a specific message, maybe like a help signal, to attract the right kind of bacteria. For instance, bacteria that can take nitrogen from the air and convert it into a form the plant can actually use.
That is fascinating. Active communication between roots and microbes. So this whole network, this biological symphony, it must need the right conditions to work properly.
Precisely. And there's one critical factor that sort of conducts the whole orchestra, if you will. It's the soil's pH level.
pH. I've heard that's important.
It's fundamental. For most turf grasses, you want that pH to be in a specific range, usually somewhere between 6.0 and 7.0. If the pH is too low, too acidic, or too high, too alkaline, this entire biological network can just, break down. It stops functioning efficiently.
So even if I'm putting down fertilizer, if the pH is wrong?
Your grass could essentially be starving. Yes, because the microbes aren't there or aren't active enough to process those nutrients and make them available to the roots. It's like having a pantry full of food, but your digestive system is completely shut down. The food's there, but you can't use it.
That's a really clear analogy. Okay, so we've got this incredible underground world, the soil food web, all hinging on pH. How do we actually feed this whole system properly? Because it sounds like just scattering fertilizer isn't the full picture.
Spot on. It's not the full picture at all. Most people think fertilizer is just food for the grass, right? Put it down, grass eats it, job done. But it's much more nuanced. Grass definitely needs its main macronutrients, nitrogen. That's for the green leafy growth.
Right, NPK.
Exactly. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, P and K, are more for like strengthening cell walls, helping with stress tolerance, heat, cold, drought, that sort of thing. But, and this is crucial, the timing of when you give the lawn these nutrients, it's just as critical, maybe even more so sometimes than the nutrients themselves.
Okay, timing is key. And you mentioned this whole network. Is it just the roots and microbes, or is there something else connecting things? You hinted at a kind of superhighway.
Yes. This is another amazing part. Your grass roots don't work alone. They form partnerships with these tiny thread-like fungi called mycorrhizae.
What now?
Mycorrhizae. Think of them as like nature's internet. These fungal threads essentially act as extensions of the root system. They can extend the reach of a grass root by up to 1,000 times.
1,000 times?
Seriously. It creates this massive underground network. And through this network flows water, nutrients, even information between plants.
Wait, information? What do you mean, like plants talking to each other?
In a way, yes. Studies have actually shown some pretty wild stuff. If one
Yeah.
part of your lawn is stressed, say from drought or maybe a localized disease, other healthier parts of the lawn can actually send resources, maybe nutrients or water, through this shared fungal network to help the struggling area.
That's incredible. So the lawn isn't just individual plants. It's almost like one big interconnected organism sharing resources.
That's a great way to think about it. It really highlights this interconnectedness.
Okay, but if this natural system is so sophisticated, so self-supporting with its fungi and microbes, can some common lawn care practices actually hurt it? Mess
No.
up this nature's internet?
They certainly can. This amazing biological system, it only works optimally when that soil biology is healthy and balanced. Now think about traditional chemical fertilizers. They provide a quick hit of nutrients. Sure, you get that fast green up.
Right, the immediate results.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But over time, relying solely on those high-salt synthetic inputs can actively disrupt or even damage this natural biological network. It's a bit like getting all your nutrition from an IV drip. It works in the short term, it keeps you going, but it doesn't build the underlying strength and resilience of your own digestive system, does it?
That makes sense. You're bypassing the natural process.
You are. And you might be sacrificing long-term health and resilience for that quick fix.
So it forces you to think differently, right? Are you just treating the surface symptom, the lack of green, or are you nurturing the entire ecosystem for lasting health? The smartest approach, really, is finding a balance. Combining the nutrients the grass needs with practices and products that actually support and feed that vital soil biology.
Okay, so supporting the system, not just feeding the plant directly. And this ties into the rhythm of the lawn too, doesn't it? Like photosynthesis. That's basic plant stuff, but how does it connect?
It connects directly. Photosynthesis is how the grass makes its own food, using sunlight, water, CO2, turning them into sugars for energy and growth. But that whole process relies on healthy, deep roots that can pull up water and nutrients efficiently. If the roots are stressed, shallow, or that soil biology isn't working, photosynthesis suffers.
And that's where things like proper watering, mowing height, and aeration come in. Exactly right. These aren't just chores. When you water deeply, but infrequently, you encourage deep roots. When you mow at the right height, you ensure enough leaf surface for photosynthesis without stressing the plant. And aeration, poking holes in the lawn that directly helps get vital oxygen down to those roots, and crucially to all those microbes we've been talking about. Oxygen is critical for them.
So you're essentially trying to sync your care practices with the lawn's natural biological cycles.
That's the goal. And understanding the seasonal needs is maybe the most important part of that timing aspect we mentioned earlier. The lawn's biology isn't static. It changes dramatically through the year.
Right. So walk us through that seasonal cycle. What's happening underground?
Okay, let's start with spring. As the soil warms up, say hitting around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe a bit warmer, microbial activity just explodes. It can increase by like 50% or more pretty quickly. Roots start growing actively again, forming new partnerships with those mycorrhiza. So spring is a really critical time to provide nutrients that feed both the grass and this waking up biology.
Got it. Prime time for feeding the system. What about summer?
Summer brings the heat,
Yeah.
right? High temperatures can stress both the grass and the soil microbes. They can slow down. So the focus in summer shifts more towards maintaining adequate moisture, deep watering, and maybe providing some organic matter like mulching your grass clippings to help feed the microbes through that stressful period.
Okay, stress management in summer, then fall.
Fall is actually arguably the most critical time for lawn biology. People think it's winding down, but it's crucial preparation. The grass is shifting from top growth to storing energy in its roots for winter survival. The soil biology is also preparing for colder temperatures, processing remaining organic matter. What you do in the fall, the feeding, the aeration, perhaps directly impacts how well the lawn overwinters and how strongly it comes back next spring. It sets the stage.
So fall treatments are like investing for next year's lawn.
Precisely. And even winter isn't total downtime. Below the frost line, or during warmer spells, that soil biology is still working, albeit slowly. Decomposing organic matter, getting nutrients ready for the spring surge.
It really drives home that marathon analogy you used earlier. You don't just show up on race day. You're preparing months, seasons in advance.
Exactly. You're training the ecosystem. Which brings us to how you apply all this, practically speaking. The big mental shift is from lawn care, cutting, and fertilizing to ecosystem management.
Ecosystem management. I like that. So For the practical side, soil testing becomes even more important then, but not just for NPK.
Right. A good soil test should definitely look at your nutrient levels, but also, critically, your soil pH, and ideally, your organic matter content. Some advanced tests can even give you an idea of microbial activity. These things tell you about the health of the underground ecosystem, not just what plant food is missing. It gives you the full picture.
And when choosing products, fertilizers.
Look for ones that talk about feeding the soil, not just the grass. Things like slow-release fertilizers, organic-based options. They work with the natural system. They provide steady nutrition without that harsh chemical jolt that can harm microbes. They support that nutrient highway we talked about.
And the timing. You mentioned soil temperature, not the calendar.
Super important, because the grass and the microbes, they don't know it's May 15th. They know the soil temperature is 55 degrees. They respond to their environment. So basing your applications, especially things like pre-emergent weed control or the first spring feeding, on soil temperature trends rather than just a fixed date on the calendar leads to much, much better results. You're working with the biology's clock.
Which probably explains why a lot of DIY lawn care efforts. Well, they don't always get those amazing results. It's not just about buying a bag of stuff, is it?
It really isn't. It often comes down to lacking that precise data, the soil test results, the right soil temperature readings, and not having the knowledge of exactly when to do what based on that data, plus access to different kinds of products. Professional programs often use specific formulations, like slow-release technologies, that aren't always readily available to homeowners.
It's like that analogy you used, trying to bake amazing bread without the full recipe, the right temperature, or maybe even the best ingredients. You might get a loaf, but...
You maybe not the perfect one. And that's really where professional programs derive their value. They're built, fundamentally, on applying this science consistently. They test the soil, they measure conditions, they track temperatures, and they adjust the plan. They time that pre-emergent perfectly before crabgrass germinates. They switch fertilizer formulations between spring, summer, and fall to match what the lawn and the soil biology need then. They might use advanced products, like, say, polymer-coated urea fertilizers, like Harold's Polyon, which release nutrients very steadily based on soil temperature, feeding the lawn consistently over weeks or months. It's all about supporting that complex ecosystem for resilience and long-term health.
So really, that beautiful, vibrant, green lawn you see, it's almost never just luck. It's the visible result of this incredibly complex biological system humming along in perfect harmony, mostly unseen, right beneath the surface.
Absolutely. It's applied science in action.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other things in nature that seem simple on the surface are actually the result of similarly complex, hidden biological interactions? It's kind of a neat thought to apply this deep dive way of thinking to other parts of the natural world around you. What's really going on beneath the surface?
Thank you for listening to the Pain in the Grass podcast, sponsored by Lawn Pride of North Charlotte, Huntersville, your go-to name in turf care for homeowners and businesses seeking beauty, quality, and reliability, powered by family and fueled by passion. Until next time, make sure to take care of that pain in the grass.